Welcome back, legends. In the last episode, we saw how our hero cleared the horror game with his sister, and how he and Blackpine agreed to go live together. Then Blackpine decided the stream should be Valhalla. They entered the game, and our hero got past Ulfgar like it was nothing. After Blackpine finished the first trial, the two of them went out on a hunting mission, and the moment they completed it, a second mission arrived. Saxon soldiers were going to attack the camp, and they had to save it. But our hero met that raid party before it ever reached the camp, and he took down a huge number of them. And in the end, the rest of the squad got frightened and ran from the man who had just butchered their comrades in front of them. So what happened to them after that? Come on, let us find out. Our hero stands exactly where he is while the soldiers scatter into the trees, and they are shouting to each other that he is the real monster here, and that if this keeps going, every one of them is going to die. The chat is baffled that game characters are running like this. And here our hero raises his axe and says, "No, I cannot allow them to escape." He throws the axe at one of the fleeing soldiers and finishes him instantly. The man beside him is so terrified he screams out loud. Then our hero throws the second axe and finishes another one. The chat is going wild that a single strike from him ends a soldier, and they start roasting these terrified men. But one viewer asks a fair question. He has no axes left now, so how is he going to chase them? Our hero puts his hand on the bow across his back and pulls out an arrow, and he says, "Let us try using the bow this time." Someone asks whether the axe-only mission is finished, and he answers, "No, it is not finished, but I have a plan." He looses the arrow at one of the soldiers, and a viewer writes that his archery is genuinely terrible, and sure enough, the arrow lands in the dirt beside the man. Now the chat is laughing at him and asking where exactly he thinks he is aiming. Our hero looks down at the bow and says, "Alright, I'm starting to understand it now. Let us try this properly." He knocks a second arrow. The audience is telling him between laughs that he should just give up, because that is not how you use a bow. But our hero pays no attention at all. He looses again and says this one is going low, and guys, the arrow goes straight through the soldier's leg. Then he prepares a third arrow and explains that he has to aim at the legs, exactly like that. And he starts shooting arrow after arrow, and every single one lands in a soldier's leg. A viewer asks whether this was his plan from the very beginning and whether it is actually going to work. Of course, every soldier goes down on the ground. Our hero picks his axes back up and walks to one of them, who says, "Please have mercy on me." Our hero does not listen to a word of it. He brings the axe down on his head. Then he explains to the viewers that after the arrows, he simply finishes each one with a killing blow. He turns around and finds a soldier dragging himself across the ground trying to crawl away. When our hero gets close, the man rolls over and says, "No, get away from me," and screams at the top of his lungs, and with one strike our hero ends it and silences him. Then he stands in the middle of the bodies and says, that was extremely easy." The chat starts asking whether he learned archery on his first attempt or his second. And someone asks whether the ancient legend Jumong, the greatest archer in Korean history, has been reborn in front of them. Then a viewer asks him directly, "A minute ago you were terrible at archery, so how did you learn it like that?" And he replies, "There's nothing to it. I tried aiming more than once, and in the end it worked." The chat roasts him for that, because he always says everything is easy and then does it fast and simply. So he raises his axe, knowing only the squad captain is left, and when he looks over toward Blackpine, he finds him struggling badly against that captain, shouting that he is going to die and begging our hero to help him instead of standing there watching. The captain lands a heavy blow that puts Blackpine on the ground. The chat starts laughing at him because he keeps getting hit, and our hero calls over, "That is not how you should be moving." Blackpine is in a terrible state. His sword is broken, his position is hopeless, and the captain is about to finish him, but in the exact instant that blade comes down, our hero arrives beside him and strikes the captain's arm. The captain roars at him, "You again." And with one fast movement, our hero turns and takes the captain's head off in a single second. The screen announces that the raid mission is complete. The chat starts saying he finished the whole mission alone, and that what he is doing is officially insane, and now our hero asks Blackpine whether he is alright. Blackpine wipes his face and says, "You could have helped me a lot earlier." And our hero says, "I'm sorry, I honestly did not think you needed help. What I know is that people usually get very angry when someone steals their result in a fight, do they not? And frankly, the situation did not require me to step in." Blackpine explodes and yells, "If that situation did not deserve you stepping in, then what would?" And our hero answers, "At minimum, you should have lost an arm, or, had your intestines coming out of your body." Blackpine gets even angrier and screams that this is more than enough to finish absolutely anyone. Our hero looks genuinely embarrassed and clarifies that the smallest acceptable thing would be a little bit of intestine showing. It looks like Blackpine is about to cry. He says, "If you do not want to help me, just say so and be done with it." And at that exact moment, the Viking characters from the camp arrive, calling out for their leader. Blackpine is surprised to see Ulfgar coming, and the moment Ulfgar reaches him, he tells him to move and shoves him aside with a hand in his face. He goes straight past him to our hero. He puts a hand on his shoulder and asks whether he is all right and whether he took any injury. Our hero says he is completely fine, and Blackpine's face is still mangled from being shoved, so he calls out that he is also here. "Thank you." And instead of an answer, he gets trampled under the boots of the rest of the Viking warriors who are all coming to check on our hero. They start saying there are no enemies left, asking if he is all right, reassuring themselves about him. As for Blackpine, he is flat on the ground crying and shaking, saying that is enough, that is more than enough. I'm logging out of this game today. And our hero turns to the warriors and says, "I'm fine, men, but Blackpine is..." And he does not get to finish the sentence because Blackpine has already logged out. And Ulfgar says, "Well, what matters is that you came to no harm." Honestly, the chat is dying of laughter and feeling sorry for him at the same time. So our hero asks himself whether that was the end of the tutorial section, because he has heard the open world starts from here. He asks where he is supposed to begin, and a comment appears from someone called Eclipse, offering him a mission worth 500,000, and if he can defeat Bjorn Stonefist with the equipment he is currently carrying, he will add 500,000 more. A timer appears showing how long he has to complete it. The chat starts writing that the reward for this mission is a full 1,000,001, and asking whether our hero has become a leader now. And he answers them, "I have no idea who this man is, but for 1,000,001, I will work at absolute maximum effort." Ulfgar comes closer and asks if he is really thinking of fighting Bjorn, because that job is far too difficult for him alone, and Ulfgar will be joining him. Our hero is surprised by that, and a notification appears telling him that summoning companions is now available. So he asks what the point of summoning companions actually is. A viewer writes that they appear and help him the moment he blows a horn, and he says, "Understood. All right then, Captain, let us move together." Ulfgar orders his men to bring horses, and a little while later we see our hero and Ulfgar riding hard across open country. So our hero asks him who exactly is Bjorn. Ulfgar answers, "Bjorn of the Stonefist was once, a long time ago, a brave warrior who served the king, but after the king died, he lost his honor. I have heard he is somewhere west of Sykes, raiding the countryside around it." Here the game shows our hero some information. It says Bjorn was once a warrior famous among the banners of Ragvar, and that even Odin blessed him because he was a great warrior. And it says that a person like our hero could return him to the correct path and bring him back to Valhalla. A second notification appears. The current objective is the recognition of the warriors, and the result stands at 1 out of 5. He has to find Bjorn and complete the warriors' recognition. The chat writes that the design of this quest is superb and its timing is perfect, and a little later they reach a rocky cliff and stop at the top of it. Ulfgar says they have arrived and that this is Bjorn's camp. We see the camp below, the watch posted around it, and the men inside it, and here Ulfgar pulls out a war horn and hands it to our hero. He says, "I have an old connection with this man, Bjorn. Because of that, I will wait here. If you need my help, use this horn." Our hero rides down off the cliff on his horse and says, "Understood, I am moving now." The chat is telling him to wait. that he cannot just charge in like this because there are dozens of bandits in that camp. One of the guards has already spotted him coming in alone. And he answers them, in that case I have to get rid of every single one of them. And then I will be able to reach Bjorn. Someone asks whether he could sneak in instead and deal with Bjorn quietly to finish the mission. The guards are getting themselves ready, and one of them shouts at him to halt. Our hero, of course, does not halt or anything close to it and keeps charging straight at them. And he answers the viewers, a brave Viking does not resort to cunning methods or surprise attacks. Inside the camp, a man is walking along, glancing toward the gate, confused by all the noise outside. And suddenly the gate shatters because our hero has leapt clean over the guards, gone past them, and broken straight through it. The men start shouting to each other that they are under attack. Our hero pulls the bow off his back and starts putting arrows into the soldiers, finishing them at a terrifying rate. Then we see a group of them turning their spears toward him, saying they have to bring him down. And they drive the spears into his horse. So our hero launches himself into the air with the bow already drawn, fires 3 arrows one after another, and finishes 3 men before he lands. He comes down on the ground with a ring of soldiers already around him, and the moment he stands up straight, they all shout one word, shields, and they lock together to block his attack. So our hero smiles and says, shields, is it? In that case, we will be using the brave weapons instead. From this moment on, I am finishing you with the axes. He throws the bow aside and draws his axes, gesturing at them with the blades. The soldiers charge, calling to each other that they have to finish him. One of them swings his weapon, but our hero slips the attack and ends him with one fast strike to the stomach. Another readies himself with a sword, and calls to his comrades to attack. We see our hero hook an axe onto the man's shield and drag it aside, then bring the second axe up and take his head off, and here another soldier comes at him from behind, cursing him. So our hero moves fast, jumps, and takes that soldier with him on the way. We see the archers readying their arrows and their captain ordering them to fire. The arrows fly, and every single one buries itself in the back of the soldier our hero is carrying. The captain orders them to fire again, and the man in his grip is screaming from the pain with 3 arrows in his back. So our hero throws that soldier straight at them. The captain manages to get clear of it, and our hero says, "Do you really think you can succeed with these cheap little tricks?" And he barely finishes the sentence before he has also finished every soldier carrying a bow. He reaches the captain, and with one fast movement he brings his axe down into the man's chest. The captain drops to the ground, and our hero raises his axe. And here the captain screams at the top of his voice, "Boss!" And suddenly we see an axe flying through the air straight at our hero. He whips his hand up and blocks it. And now we see Bjorn Stonefist stamping his foot down on the ground and saying one word, enough. The chat starts asking whether the warrior has finally arrived. The captain sees him and shouts, "Boss, this boy is," but he never finishes the sentence because our hero takes his head off with a single blow and says, "Be quiet. I do not want to hear your voice." Bjorn is furious and starts cursing him, so our hero walks toward him and says, "There is no time to waste. Let us finish this thing. Come on." Bjorn slams his axe into the ground and says, "You filthy little wretch. Now you had better think about your final wish before you die, because I'm going to make you regret what you have done." And Bjorn comes forward carrying the shield in one hand and the axe in the other, and stops right in front of our hero. And now, guys, let us go over to the other game. We see a man defeat another fighter using nothing but his fist. A notification appears on screen. Vanta wins. And Vanta says, "Wow, it has been a very long time since I last saw you all." The chat is stunned. They start asking why he has come back now, and saying it has been ages since he last opened a stream, and that they have missed him. One of them points out that this is his first stream since the Iron Fist World Championship a few days ago. Vanta confirms that is exactly right. Someone says it was genuinely embarrassing that he reached the semifinals again, and asks about his mental state and whether he is all right. Vanta answers, "I'm fine now. I just took a few days to rest and gather my strength again." And Vanta starts thinking about how, back in Final Fighter, Everyone used to say that Vanta winning the championship was a foregone conclusion, and how he was used to collecting titles like it was a trivial thing. But in the Iron Fist Championship, the situation was completely different. And despite all of that, he still believes he cannot give up. So he says to the audience, "Alright everyone, to remind myself of my roots, how about we take a trip back home?" Guys, Vanta's viewer count is sitting at more than 38,000 people. A notification appears, Iron Fist closed, and Vanta goes straight into Final Fighter. And suddenly the viewer count starts dropping at a terrifying speed until it reaches 17,000. One of the audience is laughing about how fast the numbers are falling, and someone else writes that this is the garbage fighting game. We see Vanta standing in his virtual room surrounded by a wall of trophies, and he says, "Wow, how long has it been since I came here? Maybe a year since I last logged into Final Fighter? Alright, let me work with my old account." Hoken, a notification appears confirming he has selected the martial artist Hoken, and his clothes and appearance change immediately. He tells the audience he is going to prepare for a match now, and asks the system to search for one. The system replies that it is searching, and now we go back to our hero's apartment. His sister is shouting, "Brother, the response this time was insane. Look what happened." Somi is talking about the video that got uploaded from our hero's game, and people are writing comments that the mountain raid scene gave them chills. The video has passed 100,000 views. They are also arguing about the blocking technique he was using and how it should not even be possible to call that a skill. Somi points at the video and adds, "By the way, there are some extremely funny screenshots from your stream, but you know what, brother, if you keep going like this, your stream is going to be fine without me. And that means all you have to do is work seriously and put in more effort, you understand me?" And our hero answers, "In any case, I could never have reached this point except because of you, Somi. And you were working incredibly hard running the stream today." Somi stretches and yawns and says, Yeah, and who exactly was working hard? Anyway, I'm going to sleep now, and you should sleep too, brother, and rest." After she leaves, our hero thinks that he would be wasting time if he went to sleep now, and that he should try Iron Fist since it is the trending game. But in the end, he decides to stick to his own plan. He is going to reach the Supreme rank first, and if he can win one more match, he will be promoted to the Grandmaster level. He wonders about the friend request he sent to the Saber Queen. He notices she is always offline, and when he checks the account, he cannot tell whether she has abandoned the game or not. We see him settle into his capsule and say, "In any case, system begin full operation." A notification appears confirming operation has begun, and that he is now entering the waiting lobby. And the moment he arrives, a second notification tells him the system is searching for a ranked match and finding him an opponent. A notification tells him a match has been found. And when our hero reads the name of his opponent, he is genuinely puzzled because the name is the first champion of ramen cooking, and his wins and losses are both still sitting at 0. So he wonders whether this is an old account whose owner has come back and started playing again after a long absence. But none of that really concerns him, so he decides to take the match and presses accept. And here, everyone, let me give you today's secret word, and it is Vanta. Now, in front of Vanta, the screen shows that his match is against a player who has won 21 times and never lost once. So Vanta asks whether that is genuinely this player's name. He also notices the win rate is 100%, which means the level sits somewhere between Grandmaster and Supreme, and it could easily be a professional's second account. So he asks his audience what they think, and they tell him this is the boy who was in the Saber Queen's stream. One of them laughs and calls him the ruler of mockery. Vanta is baffled by the title and asks about it. And the audience answers that he is a mysterious professional who crushed the Saber Queen in her own stream, that he is insanely skilled, and that he was extremely funny as well. One of them adds that people on the forums have been comparing him to Beyond, but that his face is completely different. Vanta looks at the match acceptance screen and says, "So they enjoy pretending to be hidden masters, do they? Let us see whether they are capable of repeating any of that against me." Our hero appears in front of him, and he has selected the exact same Hoken character. Vanta says, "And there's the mysterious expert. Let us see whether I can work out who you actually are. Let us play this match, but here Vanta is caught completely off guard because our hero gestures at him and says, how about you take the first move? The audience starts talking about psychological games from the very first match, and Vanta answers, so you are belittling me. I'm going to make you swallow both of those words right now. Vanta attacks at terrifying speed, and we see the smoke pouring off the hand he is going to strike with. Our hero throws a kick at him, but Vanta ducks under it, avoids the blow, and manages to catch our hero's leg. He hurls him into the air and readies his punch, aiming it straight at our hero's face as he comes down on top of him. But our hero puts both hands in front of himself to protect his head, and he blocks it. Vanta is genuinely shocked that it was blocked at all. And here our hero brings his leg down on Vanta's head and slams him into the ground, then follows immediately with another punch. When Vanta sees it coming, he pulls away fast, and the punch lands in the ground instead. The chat starts asking what is going on here and who this man actually is. They are saying that even after a year, it is impossible for Vanta to have regressed like this in this game, especially since Hoken is his main character from the very first trial phase. They are even saying Vanta has lost his touch and lowered his guard after so long away. Vanta can see their comments, and he is thinking that yes, he was a little careless. But there's something else happening here. That exchange a moment ago had something strange in it, and an even stranger feeling that has left him deeply uncomfortable and that he cannot explain. And if he cannot work out what it is before it is too late, he could genuinely lose this match. So he decides to watch his opponent's reactions and then attack after that. But that attack is only a feint. The moment he arrives in front of our hero, he ducks low to grab his leg, understanding that the real move is a low counterattack, and he knows he has succeeded. But he is caught completely off guard when he sees our hero lift his leg to drive a knee into his head. Vanta manages to avoid that as well, and plants his hand on the ground, saying to himself, what is this madness? He is reading every one of my movements and my reactions, even my counterattack, and from close range, is it possible that was just luck? When he stands, he sees our hero already attacking with a punch. He avoids it and raises his own hand to strike back, but our hero catches that hand and brings his own arm down onto Vanta's forearm. Vanta screams from the pain. Our hero keeps hold of his hand and drives a punch straight into his face. And Vanta is thinking, if this man can see every single one of my attacks, then there is only one solution. He has to attack from the blind spot behind his shoulder. And he does exactly that. But our hero ducks under it, avoids the strike, and comes back at him with his back and sends him flying through the air. Vanta is stunned because our hero just used the Iron Mountain technique, and that technique is performed by driving into the opponent's chest and striking them with it. Our hero, of course, keeps attacking and throws a punch, and Vanta blocks it while thinking, this is not logical. Is it possible he is using Iron Mountain with no preliminary movement at all? In the skill mechanics of the Alpha system, Iron Mountain only activates after a preliminary move called the True Angle. You can skip that preliminary when the skill is triggered, but then a timing glitch occurs and the strike will never carry that kind of force. Our hero keeps attacking and Vanta keeps blocking. And the audience is asking what on earth is happening and whether Vanta could actually lose, because normally Vanta does not lose in close combat. And here our hero stamps down on the ground, and flames appear all around him, and he charges at Vanta, who recognizes immediately that this is the red flame stance. He knows the aura that comes out of this stance closes off every escape route in front of him, and that the main attack that follows is a decisive blow that forces him into a one-sided confrontation. So he asks himself why our hero is using a skill with such large movements in close combat, and whether he has finally made a mistake, because this could be his chance. He knows the red flame stance is a powerful skill, but that after a certain movement it cannot be cancelled, and sure enough our hero kicks and Vanta drops immediately underneath it. He is thinking that if he times it precisely, avoiding the attack will be easy, and that if he exploits the lock time created by the flame stance to execute a powerful technique of his own, he is the one who wins. And after our hero's leg passes over his head, he springs into the air and readies a burning fist to bring down on him. But here our hero brings that same leg back down onto Vanta's head, and it lands hard. One viewer writes that this is a reverse movement for the red flame stance. Another writes that this version of the stance is completely different from the one they all know. And after the flames around Vanta's head die away, he works it out. To avoid the penalties attached to a skill, every single movement has to be executed manually. And now he finally understands the source of that uncomfortable feeling. He understands that this man has not once, not a single time in this entire match, used the system's assistance. And here our hero punches him in the face. Then a second time, then a third, and then a 10th. A notification appears from the system announcing that the player using the Hoken character has won. We see our hero standing in front of Vanta, taking a breath and saying, "You really are good." The chat starts writing that the last counterattack was extremely clean, and asking whether this is Vanta's retirement ceremony from the Alpha system. Vanta re-enters the match thinking that he cannot believe what he has just seen, and wondering whether it is genuinely possible to activate skills with that precision without any help from the system at all. He decides he has to verify this, so he says to our hero, "Another round, please," and our hero says fine and gestures for him to attack. Vanta charges at him at speed, and a short while later the exact same notification appears, and our hero has won. And once again, our hero takes a breath and says that fight was a good one too. Vanta is flat on the ground and completely wrecked, and he summons himself back again and asks for another round. And once again, our hero wins it. Vanta keeps asking for round after round after round, until in the end he has been beaten in every single one of them. And our hero says 5 rounds back to back is more than enough. That is it for here. And Vanta answers yes, I also think that is enough. After Vanta disappears, our hero adds, "I have won 5 times now. Ramen ruler, I wonder how far I have actually got." The screen shows 26 wins and not a single loss. So he works out that he needs one more match to reach the highest level, and that the moment he arrives at that rank, he is going to find much stronger opponents. But then he realizes something. If the viewers watching his channel discovered he is still playing Alpha, they might complain that he carried on for an extra round by himself after telling them he was ending the stream. And that would look especially bad since he is still a beginner streamer, so he decides he has to hide his identity as far as he possibly can and never mention it on stream at all. Not until he reaches first place in Final Fighter. So he asks the system whether his basic data and his appearance are being kept hidden, and the system tells him yes. And that he can change the settings himself, and that everyone will see him in Final Fighter, with the appearance shown in the image in front of him. The system asks whether he wants to change the settings and appear with his real face. And he answers, "No, I will leave it exactly as it is now." The system cancels the appearance change, and our hero continues, in any case, given that Alpha is this enjoyable. Then Iron Fist, which is the main fighting game right now, is going to be even more exciting, is it not? I need to add people like Raymond to my friends list. System, send a friend request to Raymond. The system asks what message he wants to attach to the request, and our hero says, given that Ramen was defeated, we should encourage him and wish him better work next time. So I'm going to write these 2 words. And somewhere else entirely, we see Vanta sitting out in a forest when a notification appears telling him a new message has arrived. The message is from our hero. And in it, he tells him that he has talent and that he has sent him a friend request, so the 2 of them can play together another time. Vanta's viewer count is sitting around 22,000. They start laughing in the comments saying our hero just called Vanta talented and that this boy is genuinely insane, and they start begging Vanta to accept the friend request so he can crush him all over again. Vanta raises one finger and says, "Of all the games in the world, I never once expected to hear those words in Final Fighter." And someone sends a donation asking whether he knows who this person actually is. And Vanta answers, "Honestly, I have no idea at all. I do not know who he is. But since we have opened the subject, how about we review the clips from the match?" For example, this strike here when he used the burning crescent kick, and the chat answers that even watching it a second time, they can feel how insane that movement is, and that it was completely manual. And that is exactly why this person was able to land it on Vanta at all. They explain that the strike is extremely difficult to execute and that our hero is enormously skilled. But Vanta is thinking that it was not only that kick that was terrifying, because if he told them right now that our hero performed every single movement without the system's help, the entire conversation would explode into argument. So he says to himself, I thought I had mastered every secret of this game, but it seems there are things I still have to learn. And that is exactly why I have been struggling in Iron Fist all this time. Perhaps the answer has been sitting right here. Then he turns to the audience and says, in any case, that is enough replay review for now. The audience is surprised and asks why. Because they wanted the full analysis, but Vanta has decided he should not be the only one taking a beating. If he does not publish this video, then every one of those swaggering fools is going to collide with this man themselves. And he will crush them too. So the better move is to keep the whole thing a secret and let all of them experience exactly what he felt while he was being taken apart. After that, we go back to our hero's apartment, where Somi is sitting reading the comments and the forum threads about the person who defeated Vanta. Even the friend request he sent is being quoted everywhere. It says they will play together another time, phrased in a genuinely funny way, and people are saying this person has found himself a punching bag to train with. Somi is furious and slams both hands on the table. She says, what is all this noise, and what is that stupid name as well? The entire forum is talking about nobody but him. If it were not for this person, my brother would be topping the videos and pulling the highest view counts. The whole point is that my brother has been busy with Valhalla lately, but the second he logs back in, he is going to wipe the floor with this man anyway. It does not matter. I will just make sure his ranking does not drop. I have to manage these discussions properly, but where on earth is he until now? I told him to go to the supermarket ages ago, and he still has not come back. What a genuinely naughty boy. And outside the supermarket, we find our hero, opening the door and talking to himself. Given that his sister wants banana milk this badly, she really should come and buy it herself. But it does not matter, because he is only doing this since he has the card. He also decides to pick up a few snacks while he is here, and a boy is coming out through the same door, and the two of them collide. The boy goes down on the ground, and everything he was carrying falls out of his hands. Our hero goes over to him and asks whether he is all right and whether he can stand. The boy looks up at him, and he has very large ears. He answers, flustered, "Ah, yes, I am extremely sorry." And our hero is completely stunned when he sees him, and says, "Could you possibly be Jiho of the big ears?" The boy is shocked and says, "What is this? How do you know my nickname and my name? Who exactly are you?" And our hero is asking himself whether the person standing in front of him really is Jiho, the strategist of the big ears, the one who served under his command before he went back in time. Because in the earliest days of the collapse, our hero managed to assemble a group of people who had only weak abilities. And they formed a unit called the Stray Dogs. He was the commander of Squad 13, and the person who planned every single one of that squad's operations was Jiho, the strategist of the big ears. We see that squad hiding out on a rooftop, and Jiho sitting there drinking and shouting, "You know, Captain, I have always envied the men with huge bodies like yours." We see our hero sitting eating out of a tin, and he sighs and says, "Here we go again. Who gave him the drink this time?" And a girl from the squad comes over and sits beside Jiho, and she says, "Sorry, Captain, do not scold him too much. Our great planner needs a drink first, and then the gears inside his head start turning, right? What do you say, big ears?" This girl has been pressing down on Jiho's neck, and he shoves her away from him and shouts in her face, "Stop doing that. You adults are always saying I'm cute and treating me like a small child. And then every one of you does exactly the same thing." The girl leans in closer, takes hold of his face, and looks like she is about to kiss him, and says, "Oh my, our big ears is so very strong." He pushes her back and says, "I'm telling you to stop doing that." And a long-haired man comes over and laughs and says, "You as well. Go easy on him a bit. Can you not see he hates what you're doing?" But, by the way, I personally might not hate what you're doing, and I would happily accept a kiss from you. The girl stands up, lifts her enormous hammer, and tells him to get out of here. You pervert doctor. And he answers, absolutely terrified. Fine, fine, I understand. You can put the hammer back where it came from. This doctor is genuinely frightened of her and considers her extremely aggressive and very nearly loses control of himself from fear. When the girl looks beside her, she cannot find Jiho, so she asks where he has gone. Our hero gestures with the spoon in his hand and answers that he is standing over there, and that she should know perfectly well what he always does when he gets drunk, because every single time he climbs up to somewhere high and then walks right and left in the middle of the wind. So the girl sighs and asks whether he has gone back to doing that again. Jiho, my darling, I'm not going to bother you again. All right, just come down from that dangerous place. And he answers her, Captain, if I were big and strong like you, then maybe they would bother me less than this. If I were only like you, maybe then I would not have lost my eye and my little brother the way I did. You do not need superhuman strength to fight the alien warriors. If I had your skills, I would not have failed to protect everyone. So, Captain, if you ever go back in time one day... And before he can finish the sentence, he falls off the edge and lands straight in the arms of the doctor, who catches him and says, well, if you cannot handle liquor, why do you keep drinking it? Just stop drinking, man. Every single time he gets drunk, he climbs up onto something high and starts weeping about the past. And at that exact moment, a squad member named Raiko arrives. He calls out to our hero and reports that he has managed to locate the forward base, and that the crazy lady and the devil are already waiting there. So our hero picks up his sword and answers, then the best thing is for us to move right now. Look after Big Ears and the old man too. We are going to strike fast and precisely and finish them, and after that we are blowing that base apart. But, guys, what was waiting for them there was completely different from anything they had expected. We see Jiho readying his superpower with both hands and screaming at them to run. And what happened was this. It was a trap prepared by the alien creatures to finish off the human resistance. There was an entire squad of alien soldiers there, and with them 2 of the warrior rank, and in that battle, Raiko and the devil died. As for the crazy lady, she lost her mind completely and started fighting one of the warrior rank aliens, but she could not do it. She lost control of herself and she did not survive. Our hero and the old man both took severe injuries, and here Jiho says, as the deputy commander of Squad 13, the order right now is that you, Doc, and you, Hammer, withdraw immediately and take the captain and the old man with you. The girl screams at him through her tears that she refuses to obey that order and that she is staying here. And Jiho says, enough, Hammer. I mean, Nuna, please. The 2 of us both know that the only thing capable of stopping the alien attack and buying us the time we need is my shield. So please stick to the plan and protect the captain. And guys, Jiho raises his shield. The doctor runs carrying our hero over his shoulder, and Hammer runs carrying the old man over hers. And she shouts back at him, do not you dare die, Big Ears, because if you do, I will finish you off myself. And on that note, our episode ends here for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be waiting for your comments to tell me what you thought, and I will be waiting for the like and the share, and for you to subscribe to the channel. And anyone who has not subscribed, subscribe and turn on the bell. Wait for us together in the coming episodes. Everything new. Goodbye for now.